Good afternoon, good evening, folks, and we are speaking to Simon Rowe tonight from the EV Side YouTube channel. For anyone who hasn't tuned in before, this is the Yorkshire EV Club YouTube. Hi Simon, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you, Darren?
Oh, not too bad. Had a busy old weekend. Had a nice long road trip in my Zoe. We went to Derbyshire, 100 miles there, 100 back. You know, just easy, really.
Nice.
Yeah. And,
so no dramas then. So apparently EVs can do more than 50 miles, yeah?
Well, yeah, it's funny, but I thought it would be nice and quiet. We've been, because Julie had an operation, so we had to lock down for a while. I've been stuck in the house. And I thought it'd be really quiet, but we were near Tor, and it was absolutely manic. There was people everywhere. I had a bit of a stress on, to be honest with you. I was a bit nervous. I've not been around that many people for ages.
It's odd, isn't it, when you've been in, like, you know, because I worked from home for probably 4 months. I was working from home about a month before lockdown, and yeah, it's weird. The first time, like, you go out and you see lots of people around you, it's like, what are you doing? Get away from me.
Yeah, strange. And some people were wearing masks, some weren't, and some people clearly didn't know how to wear masks. But we had a nice day. We went around the castle, Peveril Castle. We went down a cave known affectionately as the Devil's Arse.
I did see that. I'm
Yeah.
going to have to visit now.
And we saw a documentary. Ricky Tomlinson and Ralph went down there. We thought, oh, if it's only down the road, we'll go. So, and then we had a nice meal, which is really well socially distanced. So that's my weekend. So how was yours, mate? What rides have you been doing? Like, for anyone that doesn't know, like I say, Simon is into his electric skateboards and motorised transport. Very much a big exponent of it. Got a very, very entertaining channel, which I'll put a link on at the bottom of this when we put it up. So fire away, Simon.
Yeah, well, so I've had a Friday off. So Friday was an impromptu forest trail ride on my off-road electric skateboard. Those that don't know what that is, a company called Evolve Skateboards, although there are other manufacturers, build essentially decks with 3,000 watt batteries, motors, a massive battery that can do about 20 miles, and some big chunky wheels. So you kind of plonk yourself on top of that and try not to fall off, although I didn't succeed on Friday. Friend of mine, I think, was going along this trail. We saw he obviously saw a big route going across the path covered in leaves at the last minute, jumped off, ended up in a bush, and as I saw him ended up in the bush, I looked down, saw the exact same thing, but wasn't quite so lucky to run it off. I flew off and landed on the side of my ribs, got some bruised ribs, some cuts, bit of like obviously damage to your pride. But it was fun. I mean, I was only going about 15 miles an hour, but it was enough to throw me off. But Saturday morning, I'd already arranged a ride from Longstanton near Cambridge to Cambridge, and I'd done that one anyway, and that was a lot of fun. That was on more street-based wheels, and I think I topped out about 24 miles an hour. It's one of those things that, and I think I need to probably stress that I do wear as much armour and things like that as I can. So elbow pads, knee pads, armour, and a crash helmet essentially. So, but sometimes things don't go quite according to plan. So that was kind of my Friday and Saturday. But Saturday was a really good fun. It was about 7 of us, and just a general good sort of time, really. You know, like none of us are kids. You know, I'm 47. Most of the people I was with was in their 40s or late 30s, and it's just fun. And somebody said to me the other day, said, "You're going through a midlife crisis." I said, "Absolutely. I just can't afford the sports car."
At the end of the day, if you enjoy something, who can hang an age on it? It's
absolutely.
You guys are tremendous fun. Some of your night ride footage, by the way, when you've done the night group rides and stuff, is absolutely brilliant. It comes across really well when you've got the LEDs on the boards and what have you.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's part for a bit of a show, but a lot of it, to be honest, is safety. At night, I have probably the brightest things that you can get, these shred lights that go on the front and the back of the board. I wear halo rings, which are basically, if you imagine, anyone remembers the film Tron, it's kind of neon lights that go around your arms. And again, it's just to be visible and things like that. But yeah, I haven't done night riding for a little while, but I absolutely really enjoy it, because usually the streets are quiet, and you can get out on your own, clear your air, and like I said, it's a lot of fun. It adds to the challenge. um, but yeah, it's really cool. I've kind of enjoyed it, and in all honesty, I got into this. We've spoke before when we was at Evie's in the Park last year. It was,
Yeah.
all the stuff that I get into now. The one wheel pint that I've just recently got, and my skateboard, has all been through electric cars, and the kind of love of that, and the enthusiasm for those, and it's just quite kind of grown from there.
I guess as it evolves as well, that it'll evolve probably as a sport, and also people will be able to go on tracks and be safe, and
Yeah,
maybe have a racing experience or something fully armored up. And I just think,
yeah, I'm really hope so. Unfortunately, the government at the moment consider anything like that illegal. Well, no, actually, let me clarify that. It's neither illegal or legal. Um, it's not specified, which means it's neither. And the recent trial for electric scooters that is for hire purposes only, unfortunately, have got numerous flaws in it. Namely, one, it's hires only, because anyone you ask that are in the community basically means that if it's something that you own, you're likely to care more about it, and you'll put the effort in, you'll wear the protection and everything else. If it's a hire scooter or a hire bike, you pretty much pick this thing up. You don't have to wear a helmet because it's not compulsory, which is again is wrong. It should be compulsory to wear that sort of stuff. And you throw it anywhere you want. You don't treat them well, and we've already had cases, unfortunately, of teenagers and various people mistreating them and driving on the wrong sort of types of roads and things like that. So I hope that they quickly learn from those things and put in the relevant measures. And actually, a good friend of the EV community and mine, Afiz K, he's been working with the government to try and persuade them to use the framework that he put together to make it safer and realistic and reliable and everything, to make sure that it can become as you said, not just a sport, but also a way of transport, because we got far too many cars on the road. I love my electric car, but to be honest, if I could get away with not having a car completely, then it'll be great. We need fewer cars on the road at the end of the day, and this is one of the solutions to that.
I wish I lived a bit near you, Simon, because I find myself in a position where I've had two EVs. We've actually sold our long range Zoe. I'm going to be a few weeks with just a short range car, and me and the wife both need to use it. So
Yeah.
I'm considering getting an electric bike. Hull is a very good city. It's very flat. It's got lots of bike tracks, but there's not many people on scooters and alternative forms of transport. But certainly, it's a great city for electric bikes. And this city is old-fashioned enough to be quite easily gridlocked for modern traffic. We've got level crossings all over the city that slow things down. There's a massive case to be had for more non-car transport, more non-polluting transport. And I wish as with anything, I wish you could see these things everywhere. But
yeah, I don't. I mean, I suppose because I ride them, it's frustrating for me and other people in the community that really want to see this go the right way. And anyone that you see generally in the community that rounds, like certainly electric boards and EUCs, electric unicycles, they're probably the safest people I know in terms of how they ride, how they respect other users of the road and paths, and pedestrians, other cyclists. you know, that we always wear hats, we always wear lights, we always kind of protect ourselves in terms of armor and things like that. And yet anyone can go in the middle of London, hire a Boris bike without a helmet and actually cause just as much damage by either running into someone or going into the road. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad press, generally that's pumped by the same people that give the bad press about electric cars, you know, namely Daily Fail and people like that. But it's definitely the way to go, and you don't have to have an electric, you know, skateboard or a unicycle or a one wheel. As you said, you know, electric bikes are you know, they are legal and they're perfectly acceptable, but you need to embrace all the technologies and actually the ability to grow a bigger kind of business and economic benefit in the country as well, not just the green benefit and the transport benefit, but you know, all these new businesses will start, new starter, Kickstarter type businesses will grow, and that can only be a good thing. You know, that employs people, involves innovation and all the other good stuff that comes along with new technology.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And it's funny how you see all of these solutions. I mean, I started off watching Ian Sampson and his one wheel doing his crazy 1,000-mile journey on the. Did you see that? He's
Oh yeah, no, I did. That was brilliant.
And these things are difficult to ride, aren't they? Those unicycles. They certainly take a skill.
Yeah, it's a lot. I found. I mean, I tried. Well, kind of one of the reasons why I got into electric skateboards as well was Hafiz K, who is quite famous for riding his electric unicycle around London and things. And I kind of mentioned to him, so I'd love to give that a go. And stupidly, you know, he took me up on it. And I think I spent about 5 hours learning. I got about, I don't know, 10 foot perhaps. But all of that one, the skill, what I see is in the trust. It's in the trust to, because of it's the way it is, it's all based around gyroscope. So if you don't trust the machine to do the work for you by you literally having the trust to lean forward, and your natural reaction is not to do that because you think you're going to fall over and you're going to fall flat on your face, but actually the machine is designed for you to do that. And that's the biggest thing, is getting over that initial kind of fear of that not happening. But yeah, I mean, to get really good, you've got to be skilled at those, and I think they're probably at the higher end of, you know, the small mobility type transport, but they're a lot of fun.
It illustrates a point, doesn't it, that you're not going to pay £400, £500 for a top of the line or even the middle of the line electric skateboard or something, not treat it with respect, not look after it, not make sure it's in top condition, and not wear your proper armor. And it's just like I say, they'd rather nanny state us and treat us all like idiots. And as you say,
Yeah.
with the hire mentality, we all know that the fastest cars on the road are hire cars because no one cares.
Yeah, they're the ones with the most damage.
But yes, it's fascinating, and I had a go of Nick's little scooter EVs in the park last year, and I would love one. But, I'd probably kill myself. I'm all right on a bike, but I think that's you know, I have no illusions. I can't walk down the street without falling over. So God help me if I got on something fast.
Yeah, I mean, my wife had the same a go of the same one last year, and she went out and got one. She absolutely loves it. She cycles, cycles anyway, but she loves the scooter as well. But yeah, there's a fun side of this thing as well. It's like, you know, most people, if you use a bike for commuting, I would imagine a lot of people don't probably use it for fun. These things, I think, just add that extra bit of fun to it as well.
Yeah, I've had little or no experience of riding an electric bike, but from what I've seen, some of those assist ones make hills like work, and it's just, I imagine that's great fun. I've always liked hiking on tracks and what have you, and I love the idea of taking a nice nippy bike down there, giving me 20 miles without knackering myself out. So how's the channel doing anyway? How many subscribers are we up to now?
Oh, it's doing amazingly well. I'm now at 933 subscribers, which I just find surprising, phenomenal. I'm so thankful, just because when I started this, probably I think it was about 2.5 odd years ago, I never even thought that I'd get to 50. I didn't think anyone would necessarily watch it. I'd never done anything like this before, so you know, it was interesting to see how it had gone. But yeah, it's crazy to think that I'm close to the 1,000 mark on YouTube, which anyone that runs a YouTube channel is the kind of the golden subscriber thing, where YouTube starts to recognize your channel a bit more, and you can, you know, if you want to monetize it and things like that, you can. But it's more about, for me, it's about YouTube recognise it so I can push the content further and obviously get more subscribers and likes and things. Obviously helps me make more content. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, you know. It's gone from just, you know, me talking about at the time my i3, my BMW i3 that I still drive, to, you know, all the other stuff that's come along with the electric skateboards and now the one wheel, and then, you know, all the events that, you know, both you and me go to, whether it's EVs in the park or fully charged, or, you know, the local meets that we do as well. So it's just grown far beyond and far quicker than I think that I ever thought possible. And certainly I think towards the end of last year and beginning of this year, it went from something like 500, I think it was about 500 subscribers at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of videos that I've obviously done, and it's obviously pushed the views and pushed the channel up to where it is now. So it's I still think half of it is luck with it, you know, and getting the right content and things like that. It's yeah.
Fair to yourself. I've been a subscriber for quite a long time now, and you put out regular content. It's good. It's interesting. It's not overly long. Sometimes you have the right music. You have the right mix, the right balance. So I think give yourself some credit there. You've done really well. It's evolved.
Oh, thank you.
And I think people like you as well, it's such an ever-changing sort of marketplace as new technology comes along, new ways of controlling the boards, new battery technology. I'm really looking forward to, enthusiastically, like watching your channel and seeing what the next thing is going to be, or the next device. And I'm sure people must be knocking down your door all the time, or they soon will be. Like you say, when you're over 1,000 subscribers, they'll all be saying, "Mike, try our board, get it on camera."
Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping. You know, I obviously it's the nicest thing in the world if people come to you and sort of say, you know, can you try this and can you try that? But I think, yeah, you're right. I think you have to get to a certain place where you're kind of recognised as I hate to say it, but like a serious YouTuber and things like that. But there's no such thing to me as a serious YouTuber. I mean, yes, you've got people with millions and millions of subscribers, but at the end of the day, it's just a YouTube channel. It's something that people have, you know, have put together, and you can be looking as professional as possible, but the content, you know, is king here. And you know, mine covers everything electric. You know, I've covered the BMW, obviously, you know, Leafs, Teslas. I've covered a electric boat. I've covered unicycles, skateboards. If it's electric transport, then I'll give it a go or cover it. So yeah, I'm kind of at the moment, you know, obviously with the whole pandemic stuff going on, it's been obviously a bit challenging to do the outside content that I prefer to do. I've done a few live shows, I think, and I think they were, you know, they were well received, but it's not really I suppose my thing. I prefer doing. I prefer going out, prefer doing the test drives, prefer being out on the board. I've been actually speaking to a few companies whilst, you know, we've been in lockdown to sort of try and gear them up. So I'm hoping to line up a test drive and review of the Honda E, the Mini Electric, and a couple of others. But obviously, you know, everyone's sort of finding it a bit difficult for that. So I've just kind of tried to maintain a level of content through COVID, and hopefully that, you know, it seems like people have not only carried on watching, but more people are watching, which is fantastic news that people actually enjoy what they're seeing.
Yeah, that Honda E is an interesting car, isn't it? I think that's, it's one of those things that some people don't like it as much, but I think it's gorgeous.
Oh, it's to me, I think it looks phenomenal. I mean, I'm a little unhappy that they didn't fully leave the concept as it was, although the majority of it's there, because I always find concepts always go from it looks amazing to just boring.
Yeah.
But actually they've kept a lot of it. But I like it. I mean, I like the BMW i3, and I think that's a love it or hate it car in terms of looks, and I think the Honda E will probably do something similar.
Yeah, and the Mini's just a Mini, isn't it? Really, I say that quite. I'm not the biggest fan of the Mini, but it's iconic look, and they haven't messed with it. Is kind of what I was getting at. Really, it's conventional.
Yeah, they're going to sell a ton of them to existing Mini owners who want to upgrade. Is basically where the way I see it, that they're positioning that. Whereas the Honda is going, if we're going to go electric, we're going to go all in, and we're going to make it look different. Which exactly what. Well, certainly that's what I want to see. I don't want a boring-looking car anymore. Once you've had an i3, you kind of want something a little bit quirky, a little bit different. It won't suit everyone, but the Honda E, even the interior looks phenomenal. They've made it look like a modern car.
Yeah, and that is one. I must admit, I would like to get behind the wheel of that myself. I've driven very few EVs other than those I've owned, really. I did drive the ZE50.
What did you think?
I thought it was okay. It drove a lot more like a Leaf than the ZE40. A bit more,
really?
and a bit more, and a level of regen. It was left-hand drive though, so that was a bit weird.
Right.
So that's going to be my next car. Actually, I'm just sort of sorting out the fine details and get a ZE50 in the near future, anyway. So.
Oh, fantastic! I must admit, I do like the look of that. Again, they haven't messed with it too much, but they've done all the right changes. Like the range, and the interior's got a bit of a better look, and it looks a nice car, to be honest. I mean, before my i3, I almost ended up with a Zoe anyway. It's just at the time, the ones I was looking at didn't have the split back seats, and obviously we got a young daughter, and that was a requirement, and it just didn't happen.
Considering when it was originally conceived, I think the Zoe's still got a remarkably fresh look, actually, and it's there's slight. As you say, they've not done a lot to look at. I don't think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They've improved some of the lines outside and the little grille at the bottom, but I like how it drives, and I just thought, so that was my plan anyway. That's the way I'm going.
Good stuff. Well, that sounds good.
But are you attending the electric vehicle festival at all this year?
I was going to. I hate to say it, and I really want to support Paul and the the whole festival thing, but just a little bit hesitant, I think, still at the moment. With the family, we've got a few people in the family that's probably not the best of health, so I'm kind of limiting where I go, even with work and things like that. So unfortunately, probably not this year, but I'm definitely looking forward to 2021 and getting back to all the festivals, his one included as well, which I didn't manage to get, unfortunately, to last year. But Rob, our fellow Kart TV co-founder, attended. So I hear it was really good.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I can't make it this year either. Some of my members were quite keen to go. I think, as with anything really, people are exercising the choice to go or not to go. And I think,
you've got to be responsible for your own safety at the end of the day.
Paul had a difficult call, and he's made his decision. And I think we all wish him all the best, and I hope he has a good event.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a lot of respect for Paul and what he's managed to achieve last year, and hopefully this year. I look forward to kind of being part of it next year, because he's the amount of effort that guy puts in is phenomenal.
The passion he shows as well. He's a nice fellow, and like I say, we Yorkshire EV, and I know lots of other clubs up and down the country all wish him well. So yes, but yes, been a funny old year, hasn't it? Really,
hasn't it just?
well, I went.
Sorry, gone.
I went from furlough at the end of March.
Right. Okay.
I was locked down until June. I get back to work for a month, and then Julie had a fairly routine operation, so we had to self-isolate for 2 weeks. So I immediately had to have 2 weeks holiday, use leave just isolating, because she couldn't go to the hospital without isolating before, and it's
one thing after another, isn't it?
I remember chatting to you at Evie's in the Park last year, and so it was a sunny, lovely day, and that's possibly showing no bias really, but my favourite event in the EV calendar, because it's a massive open space. You have hundreds of people there, and I just love the way people come and go. Massive social event. I love that one. That's my favourite, I think.
Yeah, I think, you know, and again, not to be too biased, but actually, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Craig and the team that have been responsible for EVs in the Park for as long as it's been running. Again, it's a bit like Paul. You know, it just shows phenomenal way of thinking and passion and just enthusiasm for the whole thing. And I like Fully Charged, and I like all the little mini events and things like that. But yeah, I mean, EVs in the Park for me, it's quite amazing. It's so welcoming. I kind of remember the first time I went, and I went with Molly, my daughter, and we went up there. You know, we'd had the i3 not very long, and I suppose didn't know what to expect, because I hadn't really been to any EV events or anything like that, and you know Hearts EVs and all the rest of it wasn't even a thing, and everyone was just so welcoming, and it was weird because I think was Fully Charged, was that before EVs in the Park or after? I can't remember.
Oh, that's a good. I think EVs in the Park had an event a year before Fully Charged.
Yeah, I think so, and I'd gone there and walked around, and it was fantastic. I'd sort of met a couple of people that I watched on YouTube, like obviously I met Craig, I met James Coates and a couple of the other ones. You know, I didn't really know them and things like that. And I think through that and over the course of the years, you know, got to know them really well. And then when Fully Charged came around, it was, I don't know, it was like family. You know, it kind of grew so much, I think, that when we turned up, for a start, my channel was going, and the first time I had a couple of people come up to me and say hello, and I was like, okay, I don't know who you are, but I watch your channel. I was like, oh really? Okay, thank you. You know, and it was very surreal. And then a lot of the people, obviously, that I know really well now, like yourself and other people, it's like it becomes family, because you go up to those events, and it's like, you know, if you don't see them for months on end, you know, it's like you saw them yesterday. And that's what I love about. That's what I like about EVs in the Park. It's very family orientated, so it's not just, you know, geeks in their cars. It's you know, the whole family can come along. They can look around the cars. EVs in the Park is so nice where it is, and the fact that they've got like a children's thing down the way, and there's a massive open field. You know, some stands and stalls, and just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the thing is with our clubs as well, isn't it? We can have events all year round and meets, and it's an all year round thing. I mean, my Yorkshire EV Club, I think it was a year old in May, just gone, and you know, I had no expectations. I just created a Facebook group, Instagram, Twitter, started banging the drum, spoke to a couple of people I knew who had EVs, and we started running. And as I say, I posted on Twitter this morning, because I just can't believe it, 310 members now.
That's amazing.
I don't have to do anything, because people just putting content in there all the time, other than policing content now and again.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone's
but that's the good thing, isn't it? You know, it's
very difficult for me to do. They're lovely people, and they all just run it. And I'm sure you find the same in yours.
Yeah, it's just community, and I mean that's what I started because there wasn't one where we were, and it seemed like a sensible thing to do. And part of me kind of didn't want to do it, didn't know how much time it would take and things like that. But actually, like you said, you don't really have to do much. We put on events, obviously, when we could, and we will do again. But it's that community, you know that anyone on there, if somebody's like got a question, or they're in a spot bother and things like that, people just respond. You don't have to really prompt people to get involved in things like that. Some will more than others, but that's the nature of it. But it's been really good. And actually, when we have had events, it's been easy, and you don't know half of these people, and it's just one of those things where you just kind of wanted to create that so they could do those sort of things.
Yeah, Julie's got an older Zoe. It's a 2013 Zoe, and now and again we have a few software issues and things, or little issues, and it's like having a Haynes manual online going to the RZOC, because it's got so many sections and so many people and knows so much about those cars. I know if there's the slightest problem, I can go on there within 5 minutes. I've got 3 people taking the mick out of me and 10 giving me a great answer. So.
Nah, yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, we've tried to encourage, obviously, people to help each other out during like COVID and things like that, just because people get lonely during sort of when it's been like this. So actually, it's for people to talk on Facebook and things like that, or have a laugh, or share stories, or whatever it is. I encourage them to do that. It shouldn't just be rather than myself saying, oh, we're going to have this meetup and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We try and sort of sometimes post little kind of, I don't know, questions or comments and things like that to get conversation going, but that's kind of about it. The rest of it kind of does it itself.
Yeah, it's funny as well. There's a couple of my members who are crossover members, as it were, who in other groups, maybe the Northwest one, for example, well, they come to our meets because it's convenient in a certain area and stuff, and also the age range as well. We get people from, I don't know, 22 to 82, and it's amazing, all walks of life. And when things bring you together, that does really feel like community. It's great.
Yeah, I love that sort of side of things, and the same for me around the e-skate stuff that I do now. It's the riding's great and things like that, but the community there is the same type of thing as the EVs sort of community that we have. You're so welcomed even if you'd never stepped on a board before, like I hadn't. The sense of community and friendship that I've made through that, like I have with EVs, is brilliant.
Yeah, and I'd probably wrap up around about now then, and I'll just say thank you ever so much for your time tonight.
No, not a problem at all. I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, Darren, as always.
Our few subscribers, I think we've got about 55 now, but we're getting there. I'll encourage them to watch your channel. I'll drop a link at the bottom. Please subscribe. Let's get him over 1,000, and I'm sure sooner rather than later. That's for sure.
It's worth noting as well that the channel, to get up to 1,000, there will be a competition coming in the next few weeks, hopefully. With, I'm hoping, some decent sort of prizes. So watch this space. Hopefully there'll be a bit of encouragement as well.
Please feel free to drop a link in the Facebook group as well. You're always welcome to do that.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks ever so much for your time, Simon. Stay
Thanks,
safe,
Darren.
mate. Take care. Bye-bye, mate.
Cheers.